let's talk you and me for a second. How are you, darling?
I'm hot. I'm so
You're
hot.
hot. It's a hot one.
Oh, it's such a hot one, but it's cool. I'm so happy we're here. I'm so happy we're back on the last day.
We're here. And the good news is you feeling hot has not impacted your ability to look hot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. That's why I was bringing that up. I needed that affirmation.
You oh, let me affirm you. Let me affirm you. You look gorgeous.
Thank you so much, love. What's up? How are you? How are you feeling?
Ooh. How on earth could anyone answer that question these days? There is not enough time. I'm not even sure I possess the vocabulary yet. So after this week of this takeover, Justin, I love you. Don't text me right now. Um, After this week of the takeover, I'm feeling a lot more open and a lot more grounded and definitely more educated and completely deeply grateful to you.
Oh, thank you so much. No, I'm so grateful for this space. Um, this has been just a wild opportunity. And it completely just fell into my lap, and I'm so happy. In the initial video, you said you were so happy it was me. I'm so happy it was you.
Oh,
You,
thank you.
your team have literally done everything I've asked them to do over the past 2.5, 3 weeks, and I just feel so taken care of. And even other people have been looking for you, literally all week long.
Where's Anne?
The question
Where's Anne?
day has been, where is Anne? They were out a missing persons, like, yeah. So I'm happy you're back. But no, this has just been amazing, and I would love to hear some more. More
Mm,
from the week. What did you see? What was your favorite moment?
oh, that's a good question. Before I hate, I'm sorry to interrupt the momentum, but I didn't ask how you are. How are you?
You did. That was the first thing you asked.
Okay, I trust you.
I think you did. Yeah, you said
You
how
know,
I.
I just meant like soul to soul. How's your
Mm,
soul?
how's my soul? Okay, yeah, because I was definitely talking about my body being.
Thank you. Okay.
How's my soul? Honestly, I was telling you before, I came into this with even my own assumptions, about this work and people, and even who my people are, even
Mm.
with some.
Mm.
And I can honestly say, at the risk of sounding extremely corny and extremely cliche, I really feel like I have found my people all over the place doing this with this experience. And I also learned, that there are really people that don't know and that don't have, this certain level of education that I've been really lucky to have being in movement space, over the past
Mm.
better part of a decade. So yeah, no, I really feel I feel charged, I feel way more clear about my work as not only a trans person working for trans rights, as literally a member of this planet, as a human being that is actually dedicated and that actually believes I have the power to influence substantial change, on this earth. So I feel I told you it's scaring the shit out of me, but I feel absolutely charged.
I, I said this in the other video. I love listening to you talk. And that's how I felt this week. I
Hmm.
felt like the word privileged doesn't even begin to describe how I felt to have a front row seat, because every time somebody was like, "Where's Anne?" I was laughing. I was like, "I'm here.
Me too.
I'm right here next to all of you,
Mhm.
learning what I I learning what I didn't realize I didn't know."
Mhm.
Because it's not like I thought I was an expert on this issue, but I thought I was further along than I am. And that was a very welcome revelation, because that's when you can start doing the work, when you actually know where you're at. And so I'm so grateful for this honest assessment of where I am and how far I have to go before I can actually be the sort of person that I want to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like the conversations that you had helped me really understand that there's a path to get there. And as long as I show up and do the work, and I mean it, and do the work and ask the questions and Google myself and not ask other people to teach me everything, but actually take responsibility for my own education, that is a path that I want to be on every day for the rest of my life. Until we don't have to be on that path anymore, because everybody's woken up and we can all just be human beings, and that's that.
I mean, I have heard and I have said, you know, the point of this work is for this work to be obsolete. You know, we don't want this to be the work of the entire planet forever. We want to actually be able to say, I'm sick of this shit. This isn't me. And even benefiting from this isn't working for me anymore. We have to get to a place where we are comfortable moving beyond symbolic action. You know, symbolic action definitely has its place, but not here, not anymore, you know. And I saw Erica saying, you know, that she's sick of people talking about now more than ever. And I totally relate to that. But I do feel there is something happening, you know, globally, just with the environment. You know, for me, so much of this is directly connected to our earth and what our earth is communicating to us. And what I think she's communicating to us is that she is sick of the shit and she wants us to cut the motherfucking shit, because it's just not sustainable. And it's clear, you know, just a few of us being able to live and survive and thrive does not work anymore. It's just, it's not working.
No. And that was something that dropped for me in a different way this week, because intersectionality is not a concept that's new to me, but going deeper in understanding how the environment links up to trans liberation, which links up to anti-racism work. It's all part of the same energy line. It's all part of the same intentionality. And it's not something that, something you said, you asked me like what my favorite parts of the week were. It was one of the more challenging parts of the week for me. It was when you said that you weren't really a fan of the human race. And like, that was hard for me to hear, because I'm such a like, I love everybody, I love everybody, I love everybody. But it made me stop and go, if we're not doing the work, should we just be not granting each other the love? Because I do believe that's important, and I do believe we have to hold each other in that way. But when you actually want to look at our receipts, what we're actually doing, there's so much room for improvement. And it's got, and look, and I'm not the first person to talk about this, so this is not my concept. And yes, we got to aim high. We got to make change at the very top. But we are not excused as individuals.
Exactly.
Our choices do have to reflect that a more gentle way of living, a more sustainable way of living. And a huge part of that is embedded in our understanding and respecting and celebrating the innate humanity of each other. And I told you this before when we spoke. One of the hugest revelations for me from this past week was the panel of Black trans female artists. Because
the girls, honey.
The girls. Because it made me realize something. And I think that it's something that a lot of people are going to realize too. When my understanding of what it means to be trans has always been taught to me from the vantage point of being cis. Meaning, when I have a conversation with a trans human, I'm having a conversation from a cis perspective. So if it's just the two of us talking, I'm not getting the full picture. If I listen to a trans person lecture, if I watch a television show where it's scripted, I'm not listening to trans people speak their own truth to each other. And I realized, and this is not something I'm proud of, that I'd never heard a conversation between trans people and trans women that hadn't been centered on cisness.
Wow. Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, oh my God. I hadn't even considered that. And I think it's not all on you, you know? It's about what conversations do people want to hear from trans people. And I think there
Mm.
is this idea that we have a single narrative, you know, that we have a single, you know, motivation even in life. And like I was telling you, what people get so wrong about transness is that it is expansion. It's expansive. It's not something that you try to fine tune and narrow down. It's actually
Mm.
the outside of what we have come to know about gender and people. And something that is for trans people, definitely, but I always try to charge people to explore the ways that they don't show up fully, even in their own gender identity, because in that space is where transness thrives, in that space of just pure expression and pure humanity. You know, that is what transness is. It can't just one thing. And too often, I think, you know, popular narratives are they have agendas, and I understand, you know, there are agendas for why we say certain things and why we want to align ourselves with certain things, but understanding that that agenda is not reflective, you know, of the vast majority of trans people, because it is so vast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it should be. And once we allow transness to be vast, then all of a sudden humanity becomes vast. Because
But
then being cis becomes vast, and being
it's not, I gotta cut you off just because I want the people to get it.
okay.
But it's not about letting transness be vast, because it is vast.
Did I say that?
Yes, it's about
Ugh, boo. Boo. Sorry. Yeah.
no, it's good you said it, because there are people who need to hear what I'm about to say. You know, it's transness is already vast. It is, we are being murdered and we are being maligned and we are being oppressed, you know? So because we are not allowed to exist and thrive in our fullness, that the expansion, the expansiveness of transness is curtailed a bit. So I want people to understand that they don't have the power to grant expansion or to stop it. You know, it's literally just quit killing people. Let the girls get jobs, and let the girls get the jobs that they want to thrive, you know?
Yeah. That was one of the first things that we talked about, and I heard it from a talk that you gave, which was and it's advice that is given, but it's very you said to trans women that they must, and to trans people, you must be very specific about what it is that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would say to anyone who has any power in the current world, such as it is structured, please, when we talk about inclusivity, don't forget trans people in that inclusion, because a lot of times when people break it down along inclusive lines, I don't know that that's included as much as it should be.
Yeah.
And this is a really potent moment in which people are really looking at their own complicity, and I believe they genuinely want to change it. And I think it's very important for people, if you are in a position of power, if you are someone who can hire other people, that you remember this. And so I would just mention right now, there's an organization called Trans Can Work. You want to check it out.
Work. And I also want to, I feel like I'm happy that we've been able to build a relationship, because I feel so comfortable actually just engaging these topics, but I want to push it further. You know, I told you that what is so wonderful about you taking this space, you know, allowing this space to happen this week, is that you are modeling collaboration, you know, and it's so important to include. Inclusion has its importance, But collaboration to me is so important right now. It's so important to, like Dane Aditi said, to understand these solutions don't exist in the minds of white people. They don't exist in the minds of cis people. And it's okay to include me, but what are you including me in?
Yes.
Because I have been brought into spaces where it's like, you all want me here so that you all can look good, but you haven't prepared this.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
important that we are willing to not only include people, but that we're willing to collaborate with the people who know what to do and how to create a space that is affirming, not just inclusive, affirming of everybody who's a part of it.
Beautiful. Yes, I agree. And I, I really have to thank you again for your generosity of this past week, because I hope I'm speaking for a lot of people here. I feel like, once again, by now knowing what I don't know and what I didn't know, I feel like I want to be a collaborator now. I want to collaborate. I want to be someone who can be a part of that. And that was an interesting conversation that you and I had, and that was something you pushed me on. And I was wondering if I could bring it up. What we talked about last night was, I said that I wanted to ask you, like, what's the one thing that allies do that are helpful, and then, like, what's the one thing that you're like, I don't want allies to do that at all? And your response blew my mind. Do you mind sharing it?
I don't mind. I'm so excited to share it. I told you I don't really believe in allies, because my experience of allies has been that allyship is inherently performative, because it takes the light off of the cause and puts it on to me. So it's not, I'm helping orphans in Sweden. I don't know if that's a real cause right now, but I'm helping orphans in Sweden, and people are like, oh my gosh, like you said, you got an award, like, can we give you an award for helping the orphans in Sweden? And it's like, how much was that award? Could that money have gone to the orphans in Sweden? I just feel like allyship is something that people put way too much weight on, because for me, it's about solidarity. And it's about collaboration, and it's not something that brings the attention back to you. Hey, look, I helped this old lady cross the street, take a picture of me. That to me is allyship. It's I need people to see I'm doing this. And what you said yesterday was, it's this kind of getting cookies.
Yeah.
It's reward for doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I just feel allyship is not something that it's not I'm ever going to support. I'm never going to congratulate people for being allies, because I really want to challenge allies to not need my approval to do what they do, to not need me to be nice to them even. I told you, I've had people say to me, like, I'm your ally. Why are you talking to me this way? And it's like, you shouldn't care if I'm mean. You shouldn't care if I'm angry. In fact, I say, you should expect me to be angry because of what I have to deal with. You should expect me to not have the time to engage your foolishness or lack of understanding.
That.
It's so important for allies to understand that this work is not about you getting a gold star.
Or about you.
But it's about you. It is about you. And I say that because I never want, and I think that's even a part of allyship, is that it's about this person and not about us. It's not about the collective. I'm an ally because I want to save you, instead of I'm in solidarity with you because our fates are linked.
Yes.
And what happens to you is going to happen to me, whether it's happening to me now or not. It's the idea that we are linked and our fates are linked in this life, and that what I do in my house will impact people down the block, So it's about all of it again.
Yes. That was truth. I just want to make sure that credit is given where it's due. The concept of getting cookies is from Layla F. Saad. That's where I first heard it. Blew my mind. So I just want to make sure that Layla gets credit for that.
I
But that whole concept of being an ally, about having a role that you perform, about having a checklist, anytime this work becomes a checklist of, am I doing everything right? Am I saying all the right terms? Am I highlighting the people that I should? Anytime, that's making it an experience that's outside of you. And the goal is that, am I sitting fully in my humanity? So that way I can appreciate and celebrate you and yours.
Yes.
And that's when you're talking about collaboration. That's what we as human beings should be doing and aspiring to, is collaborating together on our humanity.
Mm-hmm. And we have to be comfortable. You know, I talk about comfort and discomfort a lot, because in the discomfort and standing in the discomfort, I want us to be comfortable with the idea that we have to work together. And I want us to be comfortable with the idea that if I have a lot of power, I need to redistribute that power, you know? And that to be something that you don't just connect to. I have to redistribute this power because Black people are burning down buildings in the street, and I don't want them to burn down mine. It's, I want to redistribute this power because I love this planet. I love humanity. I love life. And it's important that we redistribute the power so that we can all enjoy the fruits of this beautiful earth that we have been so blessed to be able to live on. You know, I just really want, I hate how, I mean, I understand the function of how compartmentalized movements have to be, because it's made up of all people. But at the end of the day, what we're fighting for is, again, at the risk of sounding so cool, is harmony, you know, harmony and peace on earth. And this experience, you know, I hate what, you know, celebrity affirms a certain thing. It speaks to a certain thing, even though you're just a human being. But this experience, you know, has just let me know that anything is really possible. So I'm in the place of, I am a humanitarian, honey. You know, I am a humanist, because I have found that my people is people who are like, I want earth to be better. People who are like, I'm willing to redistribute my power. I'm willing to redistribute my money for the betterment of the entire world. Those are my people. And those are the people I'm talking about. And that's across race, that's across gender. People who want to change this world for the better. People who are willing to put their, you know, not even put their, people who are willing to be vulnerable enough to be wrong. These are the people I'm talking to. People who are humble enough to come to you and say, I won't get it right all the time, but I'm open to hearing when I get it wrong, you know, and I'm open to doing something different. That's what we're modeling here. And, you know, I appreciate the gratitude so much, but I'm also so grateful because you put some skin in the game, you know. And that's the request. The request is that we all put some skin in the game. And you,
Yeah.
so I'm also going to give you your flowers, Miss Anne Hathaway. Thank you so much for also putting some skin. You got to keep it in the game, but thank you for putting it in the game for this, okay?
Well, that is a great segue
Yes.
to what we have planned. So, to your point about your people, those are my people too. Those are the people that I want to be with. Those are the people that I want to conspire with,
Yes.
because that's what I want to see. And that is what I am going to ask from this community. And I want to thank all 4,054 of you who are still on this call and are still listening to us. And I'm hoping who are still dreaming about this stuff and who are willing to go, you know what? I'm tired of dreaming. It's time now, not another day. Not another day is going to pass when I am not an active part of this work.
Yes.
So Miss Lang and I thought that it would be great if we did this again a year from now. So that way I have it in my calendar and you all have it in your calendar, that we are going to show up in a year with a year's worth of work under our belts.
Yeah.
And so I don't know exactly how that's going to look, but I know that it's going to mean that this space is, it's going to look a lot more like how it looked the last week than maybe it looked beforehand. So get ready for this work to go deeper. Now,
Yeah.
so I also want to address something that Bay Ebony said. Because you asked me about my favorite moments of the week, and Bay Ebony and Erica Hart, that was such a favorite moment. But
Icons.
like unquestionable. It was amazing.
Right.
And Bay Ebony questioned whether or not my Instagram was an appropriate container to discuss Black trans liberation. And I would say that it's not. Certainly not in its current form.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that it is an appropriate container to figure out how to model that humanity that AARYN and I are talking about, and how to be a part of it, and how to take actions. Like I said in the first video, how to take actions that mirror what's in your heart. So this next year is going to be about getting our homes in order, because I feel like AARYN has, and all of the amazing, amazing people and panelists she brought on, who I would like to thank deeply. They gave us a lot to work with, and that's just the beginning. It is just the beginning. So let's get our homes in order, and let's spend this year doing the work.
Yes. We're coming back next year, honeys. And if you couldn't tell how stern I was this past week, please understand that I'm very stern, and I plan to stick not only to what we've agreed to, but I plan to bring more people in with us, okay? So everybody, the 10 people out of the 17.9 million that I've touched, the 10 of you, please commit to some work in this year, and don't come back asking where's Ann. Come back telling us what you have been doing, and show us how we can support the work that you have been spearheading over the past year. Because the time is now, and it's time for anybody who's anybody to get on board. So here we go, honey.
Here we go. AARYN, how amazing are you? How blessed and lucky am I to know you? I'm just, like, forget the fact that we've got thousands of people watching. I'm just so happy. I'm so lucky to know you. Thank you so much.
Same. Ann is really down, y'all. I just need you. Okay. The Black trans women, the Black queer folks, okay, you are in a good place. The people love you. You're down. You have shown that you're with the shit. And that's all I ask. I need everybody who's gonna be a collaborator to be with the shits with me. And thank you so much for being with the shits.
Just being a human being.
Yeah. Yeah. But so many people aren't willing to do that. So still, this has been, just such an eye-opening experience. And I'm so grateful that we've been able to connect as humans, as people who do certain things in the world, but also we've just been able to connect on a soul-to-soul level. And that, to me, I don't invite anybody to the cookout. That's not my narrative. I saw somebody say invited to the cookout, but that's not my work, the cookout invites. But no, I'm just so happy that we have been able to connect on this level, and it isn't transactional. And I'm so happy to actually say those words, because in this time, especially in a time where there's so much, global unrest, the transactional nature of people with power and people in movement is so prevalent. And I'm just so happy that this has been a collaborative experience, and not one where you're just trying to get something to look good and I'm just trying to get something to, get famous, So this has been a genuine connection. So no, I couldn't have truly.
We're not gonna get better than that last sentence. I think we need to go out on that high note.
True. So everybody, I have some more, I have just a few things left for you today, but This is my official last day until 2021, which sounds so crazy to say 2021, but this is my last day on Miss Anne Hathaway's Instagram. So if you, the 10 of you that have been, you know, in my corner all week, haven't followed me already, please follow me, you know, at AARYN Lang. That's AARYNNLANG on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter, but I'm a shit poster on Twitter, so that's all. That's up to you. But yeah, you know, I got something planned for y'all this evening, and I'm out.
AARYN, so much.
I
Thank
caught.
you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Call you in 5 minutes.